Well, Kimberella isn't the only organism that shows signs of moving. It certainly is important because not only does it look like a snail, but it also shows signs of feeding like modern snails do. If you've ever looked at an aquarium that has algae on the glass walls, and if you look very closely, you'll see little rows of scratch marks where the snail is grazing the algae on the wall of the aquarium. And so this perhaps is the first evidence of that kind of feeding that we know of in the history of life. But it's not the only ediacaran creature that shows evidence of movement. This creature alongside is called Dickinsonia. And Dickinsonia really looks pretty much like the emblem on an old motor car. It has a very distinct shape with these broad segment-like structures that wrap around at the front and add on at the end. Perhaps that's not the best specimen to use as an example of Dickinsonia, but here it is, sitting right alongside Kimberella. And in many cases, Dickinsonia appears to leave these ghost trails of identical size close to where the animal was finally buried and preserved as an impression. Those ghost hollows, in other words, instead of being depressions like this, they're actually slightly raised, suggest that this animal had moved from one side on the seafloor to another, and then finally, when the storm came and smothered it with sand, it was killed. But not only is there an impression of this flat pancake-like creature preserved, but also the infill of the resting traces that it had occupied prior to the storm which buried it.